Good morning, my friends. 12:30 on a Friday. Mike from around the world. Well, last night, we had Mike from around the world again on Pastor Paul Begley, and they talked about a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that are coming along the line. Now, funny, as I told you before, they were sitting there talking about, how in the news, Ukraine is all over the place and doing all this, but in reality, they're not. And there were a lot of other things, like they're all sitting there telling you about how the tides are warming up, and wow, and it's global warming. Well, as he says, Noah's going to say that because, National Oceanic, that thing, is going to tell you that the water levels are heating up due to global warming. But in reality, that's not really what it is. What's happening is there are underwater volcanoes that are kind of spewing out a little bit of stuff, causing the ocean to heat up. Now, there is a pretty good sized one off the coast of California somewhere, and there is one up in Oregon, and a lot of times you'll get these earthquakes up there, 4.0s, whatever, and you'll go look at the map, and it'll point right out in the ocean where that volcano has kind of been having activity. So that's part of the reason why the water levels the water is getting warmer. Also, one of the things that he came in and talked about was, he didn't mention Gil, but what he talked about kind of came around with the Gil Broussard timeline. And he was saying within 3 to 4 months, there should be some kind of an actual, like I said, sighting of it, although they've already seen it in a real big observatory scope. But they're probably going to finally get this glimpse of it because it's close, although they already have. But anyway, so the time frame that Mike from around the world gave was 3 to 4 months. Well, it's April. May's coming up pretty soon. June, July, August, September. Kind of what Gil Broussard said. August, September. And then it'll kind of disappear for like 150 days or somewhere around in there. Okay? And that's about April, right? Well, then you and I might be able to go out and actually glimpse it quick, like 2 hours before dawn or 2 hours before dusk or whatever. But like Gil Broussard said, like Bob Fletcher, who I think passed away, and like I think Arizona, the Devil Planet guy, like all those guys said, by the time you and I actually see it, it'll be almost too late to really, if you haven't prepped by then, got a backup plan or whatever, well then, who knows? But remember now, I'm going by what these guys say. It sounds believable, it seems credible. But don't be the one that comes back on me if around that period nothing happens. I know one of my friends still watches a lot of my videos, and I always try to throw things out to people that I do, have talked to over years and then kind of lost touch with. One of my friends who is subscribed to this channel, but I don't know if he ever watches it. He lives over there in Malta, and he's actually experienced a couple of big-sized earthquakes, and he's in the hospital, not doing so good, but I think he'll be okay soon. My other friend, I've just kind of left him, be him. If he wants to talk to me, he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And just let life flow, Because we had a lot of good chats back then. Sat up at night, watched the phases of the moon, this and that or whatever. And, it was kind of a cool time. So a lot of these guys on here that I've got 4 or 5 subscribers from the old days that are still subscribed. I just don't know how much they ever watch my stuff. So, The interesting thing about it is that My From Around the World's time frame seemed to fit Gil's. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody on the earth is going to be wiped out right then and there on that day. But there are going to be some things that are going to weather change, this, that, whatever. And there was a, on the dreaded FB, this guy had a graph, and it was an actual, pictures of it. And then one guy came on there and was kind of poo-pooing it. Oh, no, that's been sitting out there since 2012, and it hasn't moved, and it's just there, and blah, blah, blah. Well, what's going to happen? I think, now I'm not the biggest person in geology and all this other stuff, so you can't go by what I'm telling you. But supposedly, when something happens like the 40 degree of something, that's when a pole shift will begin. Now, supposedly, and we're already doing it, so My From Around the World said what will happen is around this period, if it's a sunny day like today, and you go out, and it's funny because I can look out and see where the sun is. It's noon, so that's where it is. Okay, but if you were to go out, say at noon the next day, it might be at 10. That means that something's moving the planet itself. Your clocks aren't going to say anything different because they're electric. But you might be able to go out with a compass and a stick, like I used to do, and do the old sundial trick and see. You know what I mean? We used to do that all the time back in the old days when we first started doing these channels. We would go out with compasses and we'd get like a sundial made, and then we'd watch and see how off the compass was. So supposedly the earth will tip a little bit, and like the Bible says, wobble like a drunkard. So we have to wait to see how that happens. And that's what I was talking about yesterday with We Are the Watchmen. So you're just going to have to, be on watch, stay supplied. And like I always tell everybody, you got to live your life every day like you think it's just a regular day. But now, who knows? I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen. I'm not even telling you because it's just a gut feeling. My gut tells me that within about a week to 2 weeks, so this is Friday, so either by next Friday or the Friday after, something big time is going to go down that the world's going to know about, and it's just whatever. It happens to me a lot, so it's like a gut feeling, and I don't know what it is, but whatever event happens and it's huge, we'll see. So I feel that something worldwide is going to go down within a couple of weeks. Another thing that I'm going to get on to, which is a little biblical, but it's, it doesn't really mention it in the Bible, but this country here has always been on the side of Israel. They always have, okay? Good or bad, they've always been on the side of Israel. Well, now this country is kind of abandoning them and going, oh, well, you're on your own. Yeah, we believe in that two-state solution. Remember what I told you about two-state solution? When the Golan Heights changes hands, that's when it all goes down. So watch for that. Third temple's already being built. Somebody or something is going to be in it and say they're God. That's what the book says. And I tell a lot of people, no matter what happens, no matter whether the Bible's 100% right and it's happening, or whether they're doing it to make you think it's happening, it doesn't matter because it's happening. And then like Bob Fletcher said, in one of his older videos, it doesn't matter if that comet, planet, dwarf star, whatever you want to call it, revolves 200 years, 300 years, 3,000 years, whatever. If you're alive on the period of when it happens, it affects you. I don't think people from ancient Egypt drew crap on rocks just to do it. And Mayans and all that. It was because the stuff had happened and they were chronicling it for you so you would know. Had to cut me off, but it was so you would know the stuff was happening and to be prepared for it. But as progress and technology and everything took over, and everybody knows what the human mind is like, they began to realize that maybe they shouldn't tell the masses. Better way to control you too, you know? So if you go on the internet and you're looking for all this stuff and you're trying to find out the truth about a lot of things, you're probably not going to. Any of the things that we used to talk about, you know, FEMA camps, this, that, whatever, all you're going to find on the internet now is wild conspiracy. So there's no truth in any of it. Nope. You're just going to have to find that out on your own. You know, watch your own surroundings, believe what you believe, but don't, you know, go by what the news or papers or whatever like that's telling you, because they're not going to tell you anymore. And all they get you into is addicted TV shows, and your mind's not even there. And then one day, because everybody was living for the moment, and they don't have anything they need, they're going to be trusting the old GOVT to help them out. And guess what? That probably isn't going to happen. So you just got to prepare for things, be ready on your own. But going solo bolo is probably not the greatest idea either. You should probably make sure you're doing things, you know, with a group, not just by yourself, because you never know when things are going to get weird. So anyway, you guys should just, you know, keep your heads up. Mike from Around the World's been pretty good about a lot of things. Now, there's a key figure that I'm going to leave out of this. I'm not going to bring this guy into anything because you know what? I don't want, you know, to mention it. I'm just going to say that a key figure, Mike, as you can go and listen to the video yourself, he basically said that this key figure, something will come out about this person like next month or maybe 2 months. And it's going to be a big thing either way, whether it's good or bad or whatever it is, something. I think I already know. And don't be surprised if these people don't change up a little bit. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm not going into that. I'll never name anybody. I'm not going to say what I believe. But that could happen. We'll see if that goes down. So I'm already at work, a little bit later than usual, but not late for work. So I just wanted to, you know, pop out a little video again on the way to work. Mike from Around the World has been pretty right about a lot. I've had people go, who is this guy? And when you tell them he's some kind of an insider, oh, yeah, they just laugh. Oh, conspiracy. That's what it is. Well, not so much. The guy actually has been pretty much right about a lot of things. So, all I know is I go by what he says and others. So, like I said, the only thing about, I won't say this in a bad way, the only thing about his, not Mike from Around the World, but the other channel, I do get tired of advertising for the first 4 or 5 minutes. I do get tired of being asked for money. I do get tired of webinars that are pay when it's information that everybody from around the world should know. And I will never do that. Now, there is a guy on here. I don't know who he is. I subscribe to his channel. And he does mirror Mike from Around the World. And he mirrored a webinar. And he put it on there. Because like I told you before, this is information that you, I, everybody around needs to really know. Not, well, we're going to be on here and you're going to have to pay to see it. No, because if that's pertinent information that could save someone, everybody needs to know it then. And even if they think it's a wild conspiracy, at least they know. You know what I mean? So that's today's video. We're going to see what goes down the line in a little bit. Lots of things are happening. Peace. I'll be seeing you.